Hello, everybody. My name is John Dennison, and this is another in of our series of conversations on how we might go about building a new world. I don't think I need to spend much time talking about why we should build a new one. Certainly, the one that we're in has got its share of problems, and there is a great battle going on in the news between the different competing sides that want to change it. But rather than get into that battle, what I'd like to talk with you about are a series of principles that came to me a number of years ago that I call the Awakening Manifesto, or more particularly, the Manifesto for an Awakening World. These are a series of principles that I think would probably help us in terms of establishing better human relations. Because it's not just enough for us to talk about it, we have to actually find a way to put it into practice. Until we can do that, the situations of these conflicts of ideas, conflicts of beliefs, conflicts of direction will continue to plague us and not provide and not give us a way to get to some common ground where the peace can begin to prevail. And again, in the world that I envision, maybe it's different for you, but the world that I want, this is a world of peace. This is a world of love. It's a world of understanding and tolerance and allowance. In fact, it is what I call the golden age that has been promised to us for so many centuries that I think is within reach. But it's going to take a concerted effort and a clear vision by all in terms of how to get there. And so what I'd like to do is share with you these principles so that you may begin to consider how they might be worked into your life and your affairs. The first of the principles goes like this. We are joined by common intention to build lives inspired by the voice that speaks within, and make whatever contribution it calls us to add to our world. This principle rests upon the inner voice, that there is a connection between this outer aspect that we call ourselves, that we know ourselves in this world. We'll call that the ego. And and then there's this inner aspect that we don't know anything about, or very little about. And we could call it the subconscious. We could call it our soul. We call it our inner self or higher self. It really doesn't matter what name we put to it or how it's described or the components within it or how it functions. What matters is that we consider that there is something within us that has a greater understanding of us and our lives and actually provides us some input in how to live the life so that we can get out of it more of what we've intended. Therefore, if we start with this first principle, we are joined by a common intention. A common intention. Every one of us has this. If you choose to adopt these principles for yourself, you would join with others that live by a similar intention, that they are guided by this inner voice. Now that requires a lot of faith that this inner voice is going to be taking us all in the same direction. But it ain't necessarily so. Where you're going isn't necessarily where I'm going. And if it's not, our egos can get in the way. We can find ourselves trying to get there in ways that are not congruent with the world we want to live in. And again, a second part of this is and to make whatever contribution it calls us to add to our world. Now, that contribution can simply be a smile to somebody who's in need, or like I'm doing these conversations with you, just to share the inspirations that have been flowing through me from that inner voice. And this is the object, is to allow these inspirations to flow through you out into the world. And they may guide your actions, they may guide your ideas, they may help you apply your passions, whatever it is necessary to act upon them. When you hear them, but it means listening to your inner voice. That is where we start. This is where the Awakening Manifesto starts. We are joined by a common intention to build lives inspired by the voice that speaks within and make whatever contribution it calls us to add to our world. Think about that today. Let it sink in. And as your day unfolds, perhaps you'll find a couple moments when you can just sit quietly with yourself. Maybe allow your thoughts to settle. And you can go into that place of silence within you and begin to explore the possibility that there is something within you that's talking just to you. That possibility may just be God Himself. Whatever it is, listen. Try to hear it. Try to feel it. Try to follow it. And when it asks you to act or inspires you to act, try it. What do you have to lose? You just might build a little bit better life. And when your life gets a little bit better, the world gets a little bit better. You can't build a better world if you don't build a better life for yourself. And building a better life starts by having a foundation upon which to construct it. And the foundation that I suggest that we all build this new world is the voice that speaks within. Find it. Listen to it whisper to you in the silence. You will know what to do next. Trust me, you will know. I love you, my friend. Thank you for joining me today. Have a great day, and come back again tomorrow. We'll have another conversation and talk about the second principle of the awakening. Thank you. Go with love.